Welcome to Breaking Frontiers. Ladies, have you ever wondered what men actually notice about you? No, it's not just the obvious things. There are subtle details, small everyday actions that catch a man's attention in ways you'd never expect. And today, I'm going to reveal the 10 surprising things men secretly notice about women, things that might just change the way you see yourself forever. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll have a new perspective on how men perceive you. And trust me, some of these will leave you speechless. Confidence is not just about standing tall or speaking loudly. It's something much deeper, much more profound, and something that men are attuned to in ways that many women don't fully realize. When a woman enters a room, she's not just being seen, she's being perceived. Every small detail, her posture, the way she moves, the way she occupies space, sends a message. And the message that resonates the most, the one that is almost impossible to fake, confidence. Men are drawn to confidence because it signifies something fundamental. It speaks to a person's internal state, their belief in themselves, their ability to handle whatever life throws at them. It's not arrogance. And it's not aggression. Those are mere facades, brittle and easily broken. True confidence is quiet, steady, and undeniable. It's the kind that doesn't need to announce itself because it simply exists. It's presence. And presence is magnetic. Now, what does this actually look like? It's in the way a woman carries herself, in how she holds eye contact. Not in a confrontational way, but in a way that suggests she is fully present, fully engaged. It's in the way she walks, not rushed or hesitant, but with a sense of purpose, like she knows where she's going, even if she doesn't always have a map. And it's in her energy, which is something far more primal than most people acknowledge. Energy is the invisible force that shapes interactions, and men pick up on it instinctively. They notice when a woman walks into a room with an open, composed energy, when she is comfortable in her own skin, when she isn't shrinking herself down, apologizing for existing, or second-guessing every word that comes out of her mouth. They notice when she exudes a quiet self-assurance, when she doesn't feel the need to be the loudest voice or demand attention, yet somehow she commands it anyway. And here's the thing, confidence is not just attractive in some superficial aesthetic way. It's not just about appearing strong, it's about being strong, it's about resilience. It's about a woman who is self-possessed enough to navigate the world without seeking constant validation. That kind of self-sufficiency is rare and it's deeply compelling. A woman who moves through life with conviction, who speaks with clarity, who doesn't hesitate to state what she wants, that's someone who holds power. Not power in the way most people think about it, not the power of control, but the power of certainty. And certainty is intoxicating. There's a reason why confidence, real confidence, stands out. We live in a world that constantly undermines it, that chips away at people's self-worth, that encourages doubt and hesitation. And when someone rises above that, when they refuse to be diminished by it, it's noticeable. A woman who is secure in herself doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. And that lack of neediness is one of the most striking things a man can perceive. It's important to understand that confidence isn't the absence of insecurity. Every person has insecurities. Confidence is the decision to not let those insecurities dictate one's actions. It's the ability to move forward despite them, to refuse to let them define who you are. And men see this. They recognize it in the small moments when a woman laughs without self-consciousness, when she speaks without filtering every word to make sure it's palatable, when she doesn't crumble under pressure or allow criticism to shake her sense of self. There's something incredibly powerful about a woman who is not easily rattled, and this doesn't mean being emotionless or detached, quite the opposite. It means being fully engaged with life, fully open to experience, but not easily thrown off balance. It means having a sense of inner stability, a foundation that isn't dependent on external approval. That kind of security is rare and it's unmistakable. And here's the truth. Confidence isn't just something men notice. It's something that changes the entire trajectory of a person's life. It dictates how you're treated, what opportunities come your way, how people respond to you. The world reacts differently to someone who carries themselves with certainty. It's not fair, but it's reality. The moment you decide to take up space unapologetically, to own who you are, to stop seeking permission to exist as you are, the world shifts. Now, some people might say, well, that's just how some people are. Some people are naturally confident and some aren't. That's nonsense. Confidence is not some innate trait that only a select few are born with. It's a skill. It's something you build. It's something you train into yourself through action, through discipline, through deliberately choosing to step outside of your comfort zone. Every time you assert yourself, every time you refuse to let fear dictate your choices, every time you hold your head high instead of looking down, that's confidence in practice. It's also worth noting that confidence is not just about how you present yourself to others. It's about how you talk to yourself. You cannot expect to exude self-assurance if your internal dialogue is one of self-doubt and self-criticism. The way you speak to yourself matters, the way you frame your experiences, the way you interpret setbacks, the way you choose to see yourself. It all feeds into the energy you project. So when men notice a confident woman, what they're really noticing is all of this. They're noticing her self-perception, her emotional resilience, her ability to navigate the world without shrinking herself. They're noticing the choices she's made, the work she's put into herself, the way she refuses to be at the mercy of other people's opinions. And if you think this is about physical appearance, you've entirely missed the point. Confidence transcends physicality. It's why some of the most striking, compelling women aren't necessarily the ones who fit conventional beauty standards, but the ones who carry themselves like they don't care about those standards at all. Because confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about being unapologetically yourself. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more noticeable than that. The way you treat others is a direct reflection of your character. It's not just about being polite or having good manners. It's about something far deeper, something fundamental. Men notice this instinctively, even if they don't always articulate it. It's not just the way you treat them, but the way you treat everyone. The people who can do nothing for you, the ones who aren't watching, the ones society tells you don't matter, because that is the real test. See, how you treat a man when you're interested in him or when you want something from him is easy to manipulate. People do it all the time. Charm is a tool, flattery is a strategy. But how you treat the waiter at a restaurant, the janitor cleaning the floors, the stranger in line at the grocery store, that is where your true nature reveals itself. That is where men see who you really are. It's in the little things. The way you respond when someone makes a mistake. Do you get irritated, condescending, or do you offer grace, understanding? The way you speak to people in positions of service. Do you acknowledge their presence, or do you act as if they're invisible? The way you handle frustration. Do you lash out, or do you take a breath and compose yourself? These moments seem small, insignificant even, but they are everything, because what you do in the small moments, you will do in the big ones. It's not about performance, it's about patterns. And men, at least the ones who are paying attention, the ones who have a sense of self-worth, notice these patterns. They are constantly gathering information, whether they realize it or not, about how you respond to the world, how you deal with setbacks, how you manage stress. Because deep down, every man knows that how you treat the world is how you will eventually treat him. And let's not forget, respect is not something you turn on and off at will. If you lack respect for others, that will come out eventually, no matter how well you hide it in the beginning. If you are quick to judge, quick to criticize, quick to belittle, a man will see that. Maybe not immediately, but over time it becomes impossible to ignore. And once he sees it, he cannot unsee it. It's also about emotional stability. Do you crumble under pressure? Do you take your frustrations out on those around you? Because let's be honest, life is hard. There will be challenges, disappointments, days when everything goes wrong. And men, especially those looking for something serious, are watching to see how you handle it. Do you become bitter and blame the world? Or do you maintain composure, strength, resilience? Do you find solutions, or do you spiral into self-pity? And here's something most people don't realize. Kindness is not weakness. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It takes tremendous strength to be kind in a world that often rewards selfishness. It takes discipline to hold your tongue when you're frustrated, to offer patience when it's easier to be dismissive. It takes courage to be compassionate when the world has hardened so many people. And a man who is worth anything, who has done the work to build himself into something respectable, sees that. He recognizes that a woman who is kind, not because she wants something, but because it is part of her core values, is extraordinarily rare. But let's make something very clear. Being kind does not mean being a pushover. It does not mean allowing yourself to be walked on, used, or manipulated. That is not kindness. That is weakness masquerading as virtue. True kindness is paired with boundaries. It means you respect others, yes, but you also demand respect in return. It means you are patient, but you do not tolerate repeated disrespect. It means you give people grace, but you do not excuse bad behavior indefinitely. And that balance, that is what men notice. They notice when a woman carries herself with dignity, when she treats people with warmth, but does not allow herself to be mistreated. They notice when she gives people the benefit of the doubt, but does not let them take advantage of her good nature. They notice when she stands her ground without needing to be cruel, when she asserts herself without needing to be aggressive. This is maturity. And maturity is magnetic because at the end of the day, no man of value wants to be with a woman who is volatile, unpredictable, or cruel. No man wants to feel like he has to walk on eggshells, constantly guessing what might set her off next. No man wants to be with someone who lacks control over her own emotions, who lashes out at others when things don't go her way. That is exhausting. And men who know their worth will walk away from it every time. Instead, they are drawn to women who have mastered themselves. Women who can regulate their emotions, who can express their frustrations without resorting to cruelty, who can stand firm without becoming rigid. Women who understand that strength and kindness are not opposites, but partners. And here's the final truth. How you treat others isn't just something men notice. It's something everyone notices. It determines how the world responds to you. It shapes the quality of your relationships, your opportunities, your ability to build meaningful connections. It is a reflection of your inner world, your values, your discipline. And if there is one thing you can be certain of, it is this: who you are in the quiet moments, in the moments where no one is watching, in the moments where you think it doesn't matter. That is who you truly are, and that is what men see, whether you realize it or not. There's a reason why people say actions speak louder than words, but what most don't realize is that micro-exactions, the tiny subconscious expressions, gestures, and shifts in tone, often say more than words ever could, and men notice these things, not because they're actively looking for them, not because they're trained to decipher human behavior like some kind of psychological expert, but because we are all, at a fundamental level, wired to read the emotional states of others. It's a survival mechanism, an ancient, deeply ingrained skill that allows us to gauge the intentions, emotions, and authenticity of the people around us. A man might not always be able to articulate what he's picking up on, but he notices. He notices the hesitation in your voice when you're uncomfortable, the slight stiffening of your posture when something upsets you. He notices the way your eyes shift when you're holding back words you want to say, the subtle change in your breathing when you're nervous or excited, These things register on a level deeper than conscious thought, and they tell them far more than most people realize. When you're speaking to someone, your words may say one thing, but your expressions, your body language, and even your energy say something else. And the disconnect between those things is what people pick up on. A forced smile, a laugh that lingers just a second too long, a nod that doesn't quite match the emotion behind it. These contradictions are revealing. And the more perceptive the man, the more he will notice them. Now, let's take this further. Think about attraction, about connection. The way you look at a person matters. It matters more than most people understand. A glance that lingers just a moment longer than necessary. A fleeting moment of eye contact held just long enough to be felt. Those things create an impact. A man might not even realize why he suddenly feels drawn to you, why something about your presence stays with him. But these subtle, almost imperceptible signals are shaping his perception of you on a level beyond conscious reasoning. And it's not just about attraction. It's about trust. It's about sincerity. When you're speaking to someone and your expression is genuine, when your eyes match your words, when your tone aligns with your emotion, people feel it. And men, especially those who have learned to navigate the complexities of relationships, are particularly attuned to these unspoken cues. They notice when a woman is fully engaged in a conversation, when she's truly present, when she isn't just waiting for her turn to speak, but is actually absorbing what's being said. And they notice when she isn't. They notice when she's distracted, when she's merely nodding along out of politeness, when her attention is elsewhere, even if she doesn't say a word about it. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Men notice how a woman reacts to them. Not just to what they say, but to how they say it. They pick up on the subtle shift in expression when they make a joke, whether it's genuine amusement or polite tolerance. They notice the way a woman reacts when they share something vulnerable. Does she brush it off? Does she listen intently? Does she soften? These responses, these micro reactions, tell a man everything he needs to know about how he is perceived, about whether his words carry weight with her, about whether she truly values the interaction. And this isn't just about reading other people, it's about self-awareness. Because if you aren't conscious of these subtle expressions, if you aren't aware of how much you communicate without even realizing it, then you are blind to your own impact. People spend so much time focusing on what to say, on how to craft the perfect response, on choosing their words carefully. But words are only a fraction of communication. If your tone contradicts your words, if your posture betrays discomfort, if your facial expressions don't match your emotions, people will pick up on it, and men in particular will remember it. This is why emotional honesty is so important. When you suppress your real emotions, when you try to put on a mask to please others, when you force yourself to laugh at something that doesn't amuse you or act indifferent when you care deeply, those contradictions don't go unnoticed. Maybe you think you're hiding them. Maybe you think you're in control of your outward expression. But unless you are truly a master of deception, your real emotions will slip through, and people, whether consciously or not, will feel the inconsistency. Men aren't looking for perfection. They aren't looking for some flawlessly composed, endlessly agreeable, always smiling version of a woman. That's not real, and deep down, they know it. What they are drawn to, what they remember, is authenticity. It's when a woman's expressions, words, and actions align in a way that feels real. It's when her laugh is unfiltered, when her curiosity is genuine, when her eyes light up in a way that isn't forced. That kind of presence, that kind of engagement is what creates connection. And this is where so many people get it wrong. They think attraction is about physical appearance, about scripted charm, about saying the right things at the right time. But it's not. It's about presence. It's about whether you're truly there in the moment or whether you're trapped in your own head, worrying about how you're being perceived. It's about whether your reactions are authentic or calculated. Because the truth is, men don't remember the perfect lines or the rehearsed interactions. They remember the moments that felt real. They remember the way a woman's face lit up when she was genuinely excited about something. They remember the way she reacted to a stupid joke, not because the joke itself mattered, but because her response revealed something about her. They remember the way she looked at them in a moment of shared understanding, the way her body language softened when she felt safe, the way her presence made them feel like they were truly seen. These are the things men notice. Not the grand gestures, not the perfectly planned interactions, but the small, fleeting, genuine moments that tell them who you really are. There's something profoundly revealing about the way a person carries themselves, about the energy they bring into a room before they even say a word. It's not just about confidence. It's about something deeper, something primal. It's about whether you move through the world with intention or hesitation, whether you command respect or shrink into the background, whether you exude a sense of purpose or seem lost in uncertainty. And men notice this instinctively, whether they realize it or not. It's in the way you walk, in the way you sit, in the way you hold your head when you speak. It's in the way you react when you enter a space. Do you scan the room nervously, looking for approval? Or do you stand firm, knowing you have a right to be there, knowing that your presence carries weight? Because that is what men see long before they hear a single word come out of your mouth. They see it in the way you occupy space, in the way you present yourself to the world, in the way you either embrace your existence or apologize for it. Posture is a reflection of psychology. If you walk hunched over, shoulders slouched, eyes downcast, what does that say about how you perceive yourself? What does that say about the way you expect the world to treat you? Because people, men included, respond to those signals. When you stand tall, when you move with purpose, when you hold your head high, you send a clear message. I belong here. I am worth noticing. I am not afraid. And people react to that, whether consciously or not. But it's not just about posture. It's about presence. When you enter a conversation, are you fully there? Or are you shrinking back, hesitant, afraid to take up too much space? When you speak, do you own your words? Or do you undermine yourself with nervous laughter, with phrases like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, or I'm just saying? Because men notice when a woman speaks with conviction, when she isn't afraid to express an opinion, when she doesn't need constant validation to feel secure in what she's saying. And that's attractive, not just in a romantic sense, but in a human sense. Confidence draws people in, not arrogance, not superiority, but genuine self-assurance, the kind that doesn't demand attention but commands respect, the kind that doesn't rely on external approval, but is rooted in a deep, unshakable understanding of one's own value. And here's where it gets interesting. People often mistake confidence for something external. They think it comes from looks, from status, from achievements. But real confidence, the kind that men notice, the kind that leaves an impression, is internal. It's built from self-respect. It's built from discipline, from resilience, from the way you hold yourself accountable. A woman who respects herself, who has standards for herself, who demands more from herself than she does from anyone else, that is someone who stands out. That is someone who radiates a presence that people feel when she walks into a room. And let's be clear, confidence is not about being loud. It's not about dominating conversations or trying to prove something to everyone around you. It's about certainty. It's about moving through life with a sense of clarity, with a sense of knowing who you are and what you stand for. And men, especially those who have their own sense of direction, are drawn to that. They recognize the difference between someone who is authentically secure in herself and someone who is desperately trying to appear confident. The difference is in the little things. It's in the way you make eye contact, the way you handle silence in a conversation, the way you react when challenged. Do you flinch? Do you immediately backtrack, eager to avoid conflict? Or do you hold your ground, not with hostility, not with defensiveness, but with calm, unwavering certainty, because that is power, that is presence, that is what makes someone memorable. And here's something else. Confidence is contagious. When you carry yourself with self-assurance, when you move through the world with purpose, you don't just change how men see you, you change how everyone sees you. You change the way people treat you, the way they respond to you, the way opportunities unfold in front of you. Because confidence signals competence, it signals strength, it signals that you are someone to be reckoned with. And men, especially the ones who are looking for something real, for something substantial, they notice that. They notice when a woman doesn't need constant reassurance, when she doesn't crumble under pressure, when she can hold her own without demanding that others validate her at every turn. They notice when a woman walks into a room and doesn't need to be the center of attention because she is already secure in herself. But here's the hard truth. Confidence isn't something you can fake, not for long. You can try, you can posture, you can play the part, but sooner or later reality will reveal itself, because confidence isn't built overnight. It's built through struggle, through discipline, through the hard work of proving to yourself, not to others, that you are capable, that you are strong, that you are worthy. And the moment you internalize that, the moment you stop looking for external permission to take up space, to be heard, to exist fully as yourself, that is the moment everything changes. Because men will notice, the world will notice, and most importantly, you will notice. Now that you know these surprising things men notice about you, which one shocked you the most? Let's chat in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on more insights like this. Also, tell me, what topics do you want me to cover next? Drop your suggestions below and let's explore them together in upcoming videos. See you in the next one.